All right, let's talk about the absolute backbone of the Indian economy, agriculture. We're going to do a quick quiz-style run-through of some key facts. Think you know your stuff? Let's find out. Okay, let's jump right in with a big one. When you think about what most people in India do for a living, what's the single most important occupation out there? And yeah, if you were thinking agriculture, you absolutely nailed it. It's the main source of livelihood for a huge chunk of the population. We're talking nearly half. It's woven right into the very fabric of the country. So we know it's a huge deal. But, in those fancy economic terms, what category does farming fall into? What kind of activity is it? It's what we call a primary activity. And that's just a way of saying it's all about getting stuff directly from the earth, extracting natural resources. It's the absolute starting block for everything else. Think about it. A factory making chips, that's a secondary activity, can't exist without the farmer growing the potatoes first. It all starts right here. Okay, so we've got the what down. Now let's talk about the when. In India, pretty much all farming dances to the rhythm of one massive weather event. You guessed it, the monsoon. And that splits the year into two main growing seasons. So on one hand, you've got your kharif crops. These are your monsoon crops, right? They get planted around June to soak up all that rain, and we're talking about things like rice, maize, and cotton. Then, on the other side, once the monsoon is over and things cool down, you have the rabi season. This is for the winter crops, like wheat, barley, and mustard. This whole cycle is what makes India's agriculture so incredibly diverse. All right, time for a little lightning round. Let's get specific. First up, tea. You've seen pictures of tea plantations, right? They're always on these beautiful rolling hills. But it's not just for the postcard view. There's a really important practical reason for it. Any guesses? The answer is one word: drainage. It's kind of funny. Tea plants are super thirsty. They need tons of rain. But, and this is the crucial part, they absolutely hate having wet feet. If water just sits around their roots, it's game over. We're talking root rot. So those hill slopes are perfect. The water comes in, gives the plant a good drink, and then flows right on by. No puddles. And you can see this perfectly on the map here. See that spot marked 13? That's Assam, the biggest tea producer in India. And what's the terrain like there? Hilly. It's the perfect natural setup for growing world-class tea. Okay, next question. Let's move from a drink to a fabric. We're heading to the Deccan Plateau, which is known for this incredible type of soil called black soil. It's amazing at holding moisture. So what major fiber crop just loves this stuff? Yup, it's cotton. Of course it is. In fact, this soil, which is also called Rieger soil, is so perfect for cotton that people just started calling it black cotton soil. I mean, you can't get more obvious than that, right? The clue is right in the name. And again, check out the map. It just lays it all out. See region number 8? That's a huge cotton growing area. And where is it? Smack dab in the middle of that black soil belt. It's a perfect case of geography literally shaping what you can grow. All right, so we've looked at a few specific crops, but now I want to zoom out a bit. Let's talk about the big picture, including a major challenge that Indian agriculture has faced for a long time, and the incredible solution that came along to fix it. So here's a question that might seem a little strange. India has so much land dedicated to farming, and so many people working in it. So why is it that the yield, the amount of crop you get from one piece of land, has often been lower than in other parts of the world? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a mix of a few big issues. For a long time, there was a lot of reliance on old-school tools instead of modern machines. Plus, there was often inadequate use of scientific inputs like high-quality seeds and fertilizers. And maybe the biggest wild card of all? Depending almost entirely on the monsoon for water. And as you know, the monsoon can be, pretty unpredictable. So you've got these low yields, and back in the 1960s, this became a massive problem. I mean, there was a very real risk of famine. Something big had to be done. And that big thing was called the Green Revolution. And when you talk about the Green Revolution in India, one name always comes up. He's known as the main architect, the visionary who led the charge, Professor M.S. Swaminathan. So what exactly was the Green Revolution? At its heart, it was about bringing modern science to the farm. This meant introducing these new, specially designed high-yield variety seeds, especially for wheat. But the seeds were only part of the deal. They had to be paired with chemical fertilizers and a lot more irrigation. It was a whole package designed to get way more food from the same plot of land. And the results were honestly incredible. The Green Revolution completely changed India's story. It took the country from needing food aid to being able to feed itself. It was a total game changer. Now, it's not a perfect story, of course. It had its downsides. It created some regional inequalities and had real environmental impacts, and those are things people still talk about and deal with today.
Okay, let's wrap this up with the final challenge, a map reading quiz. I'm going to show you 3 maps, each one showing where a major crop is grown. All you have to do is tell me what it is. Ready? Let's do it.
Okay, map number 1. Look where it's concentrated, central and southern India. Any ideas? That is gram. It's a super important pulse, a huge source of protein for millions, grown all over states like Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh.
All right, next up. See how there are 2 main hotspots here? This crop loves the rich soils up in the northern plains and the black soil down along the coast. What could it be? It's sugarcane.
And for our last map, what's this one? This is ragi. It's a type of millet. And what's amazing about it is that it's super tough. It can handle dry weather like a champ. That makes it a lifesaver in certain regions. And as you can see, Karnataka is the king when it comes to growing ragi.
And there you have it. So we've seen how the Green Revolution was the big answer to the huge challenges of the 20th century. But that kind of leaves us with a cliffhanger, doesn't it? Today, we're facing a whole new set of problems: climate change, water scarcity, soil health. So it makes you wonder, what's the next agricultural revolution going to look like? What will it take to feed the future? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me.